everyone, this is Foxy Papa Smurf, or FPS Gamer for short, and I'm here bringing you a map showcase of a map that I call Enclosure. And Enclosure is a map that I'm submitting for yet another Forge contest, a 1v1 contest being done by Forge Hub. This map is an asymmetrical map, and we're going to be starting here on Red Team's side. And Red Team is going to be the little more industrial side. You can see that it kind of looks like a bunker that was built into this cliffside. You see these windows are barred off as if it's trying to keep some sort of large predator or large animal outside of it. It's really the overarching feel I was going for in this map. Again, you can see it's a little more evident here that this was built into some sort of cave as some sort of like contingency protective barrier. I went to some pretty great lengths to make sure that when I was meshing together these forge pieces and the actual terrain, that it wasn't going to be this, that it would flow correctly. You could just walk over the surfaces. You'll see a bunch of these little things like this doorway that are just, they're aesthetically. Now, defensively speaking, I think Red Team has a little bit of an advantage in this department, just because from this spot I'm at right now, you can see into both entrances of the base. So as long as you keep your team relatively toward the front of the base in this general area, you can defend both entrances fairly easily. And I did counteract that on the blue team side, and I'll show you that later on in this video. This walkway that leads up to red base is defended, has a little bit of cover from these forge pieces. Now we're at this balcony. This balcony actually isn't that great of a spot to camp out at. It's not as great as it looks, because in order to actually see over it, you need to get right up against the barrier. And of course that exposes you. And even when you're up against that barrier, you can only see so much of the map at one time before having to move to the other side. And again, the same story there. If you want to look directly down, you do have to jump up on top of that barrier and completely expose yourself. Walking back along this upper pathway, you will see that there's some more of these little aesthetic designs put in there. Just because all the terrain is already here, I have a little more left in my budget that can go toward making, making the map my own. This map actually plays a lot like a miniature Coagulation or a miniature Bloodline, which is obviously the map that it's based off of. We're going down into blue base now, and for the most part, I left this cave alone. It actually works really well as a base. There's more than one entrance. There's plenty of places for the defending team to hide. There's a great spot for the flag to sit at. It's just honestly great just as it is. This is where that flag I was talking about would sit, was right here. When I do make this into a capture the flag variant, I will put the flag right there. But like I said, I'm making this exclusively as a 1v1 contest entry. And I'll put the details for that in the description along with a link to the contest if you're interested. Again, the geometry in this cave is great. I mean, it works really well as a base, as is, and I really didn't want to force things in there, put objects in there just because I felt obligated to. I really didn't have to. As I mentioned previously, Red Team does have a little bit of advantage in the defense department, just because on Blue Team, you have one entrance here, and to block the other entrance, you have to come all the way around to the other side in order to defend both. So to counteract that, I added this large bunker type structure directly in front of the base. From one end of this bunker, you can defend one entrance to the base, and from the other end of this bunker, you can defend the other entrance to the base. And this also provides a nice hiding place where you can stay and just wait for the opposing team to try and come and infiltrate your base. There's quite a few places you can actually do this, so Blue Team actually has a little bit of advantage in this department. All of these pieces you can interact with. I was pretty flexible with the kill boundaries, even though it did take 3 safe boundaries and 4 kill boundaries to actually make this space playable without people being able to get out or get some sort of unfair advantage. I was relatively flexible in that area. Even though these shield doors weren't necessary to keep people in, I really like the way they look up against these bars, as if there's some sort of creature out there that's trying to break in, or maybe you're inside the pen and is trying to get out, I don't know. Another thing I really like are small maps that can actually utilize vehicles. I've attempted this before on another map, and it really just didn't work out. I mean, the mongoose I put on there were really useless. I mean, you really couldn't do anything with them. So from a very early point on in making this map, I was conscious of the mongoose and trying to make it so the mongoose would actually be a usable piece in this map. You'll see now as I drive it around, all this area is usable by the mongoose. And if you're stuck out there on foot, the mongoose is actually quite an advantage if you have a mongoose, if you do happen to have one of these mongoose. Even though it's not entirely necessary, I did make it so that you can drive the mongoose through any part that you can walk through on foot. Even inside these bases, I don't know if I would recommend that, just because it's tight corridors, but it is possible. I made sure the walkways were wide enough, the doorways were wide enough, the turns weren't too sharp, that there were gaps where you can get from the bottom to the top and vice versa. I did take all of that into account when making this map so that you could use the mongoose. Anywhere you wanted to go, you could take the mongoose. Now down into blue base, again, like I said, I didn't really need to make too many changes in order to get it to work right as a base. And I'm not even a very skilled driver with the mongoose, and I really don't have any problem navigating this map. I mean, you can just go, really anywhere with it. As I mentioned, I really tried to make sure that you could use the mongoose, and it's not just put there for the sake of being put there. The second power weapon that's on this map is the rocket launcher, and both the shotgun and the rocket launcher only have half the ammo. The shotgun I would recommend for using inside of the bases, whereas the rocket launcher you would want to use out here to combat that mongoose. And if you guys have seen any of my previous maps, you'll know that I am a really big fan of these trick jumps, getting from a lower level to a higher level. Having these trick jumps really helps. There's almost nothing worse than being stuck on a bottom floor and getting attacked and knowing there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. These trick jumps offer a way out of a combat situation, or even a way to take the enemy by surprise and come into their base. And even under this little balcony, I added this little walkway, which you don't even need to do a trick jump, and it's not even really a trick jump, you can just walk straight up it. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Again, I'll leave a link in the description to the contest that I'm entering this map for. Go ahead and leave a like, comment, please subscribe and share this video. You guys have no idea how much that helps me. I really, really appreciate when you guys do that. But thank you again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.